Riders, fans, welcome. It's Thursday at noon, and there's not much racing going on, but there's actually a little bit of racing going on, and it's in Australia. It's hard to find. YouTube doesn't have anything up, but I figured we'd just bench race just a little bit. I'd tell you some details of what I found out, and just go by that. It's going to be a short show, but I said I was going to do these live, so might as well just keep it WFO and keep the show rolling. So, the racing has happened for round 2 of the Australian Supercross, right? And in the SX1 finale, which is the 450 class, we've got Aaron Tonti on the CDR Yamaha. He ended up beating out Brayton. Hill got a podium. Matt Moss was 4th. It was interesting. Moss was on a 250 in the World Supercross stuff. Same thing with Tonti there. And so it's kind of cool, them switching the motorcycles up there. Then in the SX2 final, Anstine, the boy, is out front. Then you got Wilson Todd and then Noah Ferguson kind of rounding off the podium there. Cole Thompson, good to see. But in the championships, they say that Brayton is actually winning. He's number 1, where Tonti's number 2, when they literally both have the same. One guy got a second, the next guy got a first. And in my book, I would say that Aaron should be out front because he, as far as second moto breaks the tie, he should be the dude that's winning the championship right now, not the championship. Like, I don't understand where that's coming from. Are they coming from heat races, or where are they thinking that is all at? But I would like to see more coverage on the Australian Supercross because there's guys out here that just want to watch more motorcycle racing, and I'm one of the guys. So you guys are saying, what's up, Hopper? JD, what's up, man? Love from Washington State, WFO. So yeah, this is, again, Unfiltered show. There's not a whole hell of a lot to talk about, so I'm just probably going to relax here, read some comments, and we'll bench race about the whole Kenny thing. What does that sound like, guys? Because really, we could go over some maybe bike reviews of the 2023s, but they're not really released yet, and and that's just where we're at right now. So, do you guys think Tomac is going to go green, or he's going to go, damn, those lights are bright, or is he going to go red? Whew. Now my eyes are all, it's like staring into the sun. Let's try to refocus right here. It's probably not very good for my retinas because these are actually lights that are meant for outdoor pool lights. So, wow, everything's real fuzzy here. Hard to read the comments here. Sounds awesome, brother. Let's go. So, I will give credit where credit is due, okay? And Michael Lindsay is one of those dudes that has been a crucial part to Vital's growth, I believe, right? And they had a good video about where he potentially could be going. You guys probably saw my video on Kenny where I'm talking about him being a purple cow, right? Because the whole analogy is driving down the road and then, there's a bunch of effing cows sitting there. You don't pay the F attention to them, but then you see a purple one and then you cut some asshole off so that you could park it and take a photo of this, purple cow. And Kenny's definitely being the purple cow with changing the way things are going about it. And he has some key points in there, which I'll go over a little bit. But if you guys missed one of my videos this morning, it's Stop the Insanity of Overtraining and Dramatically Train Now. This is an interview that I had with Coach Rob with Complete Racing Solutions. And man, I wish I had this knowledge when I was really trying to push, because the data analytics on stuff, I just would always beat my head against the wall, and then I'd show up at the races and I'd want to sleep rather than actually train. And now that I'm kind of getting more back into riding and training a little bit, it's been interesting. And I just coulda, woulda, shoulda would have had that plus a PED program. Man, who knows? I could have been a top 40 SOB, right? Anyway, check that out. It's good information. But Kenny, is he going red? Actually, the idea of him going red is out of there. He's definitely not going red because of what he did with Honda with breaking that contract. It's actually more of a blue. Damn it, stop looking at those lights. Blue versus green. And I personally think that he's going to be on a blue bike. And the main reason why I think he's going to be on a blue bike is because Kawasaki is Monster Energy Kawasaki. And he's a Red Bull guy. That huge conflict of interest, especially the energy drinks, they give buku bucks to guys. I guarantee you he's making more money from Red Bull than he is Fox and pretty much probably all the other smaller sponsors there, right? Fox was actually just recently, downsizing and I believe being bought out because we all believe that Zach's saying, do I still work at Northwestern Mutual? Zach, I do not, brother. I do not. I'm no longer a financial advisor. And yeah, I guess that answers that. But no, I do not. I've let all my financial licenses expire. And you could check out Johnny Crypto because I give a lot of that information away for free. But Zach, appreciate you, brother. Appreciate the comment. Right? And JD, you're saying you think Mitch Payton is going to hook him up. And could hook him up on either bike. Could be Cowie or could hook him up on the whole Yamaha deal. Because we saw at the Red Bull Straight Rhythm, he was on a pretty sick-looking Yamaha. And again, the main reason I believe he's going to be on a blue bike is just because you're not going to piss off Red Bull. You already pissed off Honda, but you might as well not piss off one of the big sponsors, So I truthfully, I think he's going to be on that blue bike, and it's going to be towed around by Club MX. They're going to tow the bike to the races. He's going to still fly to the races, but he's going to have different parts and different logos on his bike. He might have a Club MX thing on. Moto News says Hemp Suzuki, please. Dude, Roxon would be the guy to bring Suzuki back as a fad, right? But he needs to have some money behind as far as R&D for that darn motorcycle. We saw how well he did with the Genuine Honda over at World Supercross, and there's a lot of things out there that bike was even better than a factory bike, but truthfully, what makes a factory bike is testing. They have all the ability to not just bolt on any sort of part, but they can test it thoroughly. They can absolutely test it thoroughly. And Kenny, he needs to just figure out, is there any way he could get like Genuine Racing GYTR parts and maybe a factory CDI box from Yamaha in order to, maybe from the Yamaha team that's over in Europe for the MXGP stuff. He needs a factory CDI box to be able to really, really be competitive. It's not so much the parts, but it's the testing, and it's the CDI box that really makes those bikes something special. That's sort of the reason as to why the whole Deegan claim scenario was such a gnarly deal, was because, yeah, the rules state you can take that bike, and yeah, there's lots of special parts on that bike, but the special part on that bike was the factory CDI box that was not owned by Star Yamaha. It was owned probably by Yamaha Japan. So you can't give away something that is not an intellectual property of yours. And that's why they ended up telling, hey, we'll give you 2 motors, and then he ended up losing his Yamaha dealership or deal because there was potentially threats with losing the Yamaha dealership with back in Canada, and hearsay, right? It's all allegations, but it all sounds pretty crazy. And this sport is so small. This sport is so small, guys. Incredibly small. Everybody knows everybody. I actually have a meeting in a couple hours with some of the guys at Supercross, and we'll see if they have agreed to talk to me, but we will see how that conversation goes, because it's definitely a conversation that's going to be, I'm not in the position of power, right? So we're going to have a cordial conversation and just see how it goes. But truthfully, I really think he's going to be on a Yamaha, and if he can get some good parts there. And Michael Lindsay did make a good point as far as he wants to race the World Supercross stuff. Well, Adam Bailey over at WSX, it's a better name. World Supercross is a much better name than Super Duper Motocross, that what's happening here in America. I'm sitting here playing with a binder clip. He's being paid quite a bit. So they paid him $250,000 to go race World Supercross. That was $500,000. But then when he won Super Pole, they only gave him $500, which I thought was silly. But anyway, I think they are wanting him to come back, and they're going to pay him to come back. So they're probably for 7-8 races, which they need to have at least 7 races, because the continents, you need to have a Supercross race in every continent really to be clarified as World Supercross. At least that's my opinion on things. Even one race here in America, but I don't see how that would really go over too well with Feld, right? But, one can wish, but I digress. I'm probably going to pay him a shit ton of money, $1 million, $1.5 million for him to race the series, which is good money, because truthfully, guys, these guys don't make as much money as you think they do. They are not superstars. Like, the analogy I always like to hear is you go to the grocery store and you see Ken Roczen. How many people are going to recognize him? Probably close to nobody. And then, you're Kim Kardashian and you go to 7-Eleven or whatever. Everyone is going to freaking notice you. There's just a big difference. And that's one of the reasons why I like World Supercross, is because it's going to create more just clicks and more audience for people, more eyes for them to watch, right? And so you guys are North America, Canada, Supercross. That'd be sweet. What time frame do you think we will get an answer from Kenny? It's going to be soon, Moto News. It's definitely should be soon, because Kenny's probably asking for quite a bit of money, and factory teams don't have the money. Like, again, we see how many teams that just go out of business just because it's hard to just keep the doors open. Racing motorcycles is incredibly expensive, even at a local level. Everybody here in this chat, you guys know how it is. A set of tires is $200. A new clutch, new plates at least is $100. Whole new basket, blah, blah, blah. You're looking at $300. And these guys change this shit every 10 minutes. I'm kind of being unrealistic, but not so much. As we go to a national, they throw away a lot of brand new stuff, which is just dumb. That's why we really should have a stock class come out and have a manufacturer, be like, hey, this year it's all Yamahas, next year it's going to be Cowies or some sort of thing, and it should just be an added class to what is going on, because I do understand that a lot of people tune in to racing not to see the privateers, but they tune in to see the big boys, Eli Tomac, the Ken Roxons, Jason Andersons. So we should still leave those guys there, but you should have an added stock class where eventually factory teams could pick and choose and be like, hey, this is actually some real talent here, because you'd be able to see, because at the elite level, that motorcycle helps a lot. It's interesting. Whoops are scary as fuck. Whoops are incredibly scary, but you have the right equipment, you're going to feel so safe, and you're going to be able to blitz them. It's not so much, yes, there is skill involved. I'm not going to say that there is not skill involved, but if you take a James Stewart that knows how to effing go through whoops and you put him on stock stuff, yeah, he's going to be able to still go through them decently, but then when he's racing against somebody like an Eli Tomac, he's going to just blow by him through the whoops. And then if you have a long set of whoops, that bike's going to go da 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 da, and it's eventually going to run out of top end, and then you're going to see him start like doubling the whoops at the end. It has nothing to do with skill level, has everything to do with just raw power. And if you have a factory CDI box that is tuned correctly and is making 69 horsepower, then it's just gonna stay on top of them, right? There is a level that it would be nice to see some of these guys on stock bikes racing against other guys on stock bikes. You wouldn't have the same three guys up front all the time. It would be a mix, and that's sort of what World Supercross is trying to do with the quick times here. But you could still have sort of the guys that lead the crop that happen, because every so often you will get an outlier that is just changes the sport, a Ricky Carmichael of sorts. Speaking of, Stewart, congratulations to him being in the Hall of Fame. I don't know why it took this long for him to be in the Hall of Fame, because we all already knew that James Stewart was in the Hall of Fame in everybody's motocross, supercross hearts ever since he invented the Bubba Scrub. Ever since that day at Budds Creek where you've got the poster that's all grainy and he's just completely sideways. Boom. Right? But moving more on, what Kenny really has happening is he needs to figure out how to open up to still be able to race World Supercross. And Vital was saying that MDK, they don't really care because they had guys on Hondas, they had guys on Huskies, they had guys on KTMs that were all racing. So they don't really care what manufacturer. And that's something that he could still do with Yamaha if he's kind of doing his own pro circuit Red Bull Yamaha deal. He doesn't have a per se a contract written in stone there, and then he could maybe finagle some stuff with genuine Yamaha as far as bonuses go, because I'm sure the Club MX guys have got some bonuses set up with Yamaha if those guys are to get onto the podium or win races, because I've told you here, that I've seen contracts where it's $150K to win a race, right? That it's way more money than the silly 12 grand to win a Supercross. And World Supercross, it's 40 grand to win a Supercross, but that goes to the team because the teams are paying the guys salary and like a show up fee. So Smash, they said they should have Johnny Cash around with a burning ring of fire and jump through. I'm not going to jump through no burning ring of fire as much as everybody wants to see it. Cash, Smash, I'm not going to do that. So Chad Reed does his own thing. I'm sure he made money as well as lost money. I'm sure Chad did make some money, but it's something he couldn't float forever, right, with his own team. That's why there's just too much logistics involved. Way too much logistics involved, and these guys just want to spend time riding their bike and racing. If Kenny was to start his own team, dude, it would be a situation of not how, but who. He would need to find a bunch of people to do the things for him, because he would definitely go under if he was trying to do it all himself. He would need to have a manager. He'd need to have a team manager. You'd need to have all this stuff set up so that he could just focus on just riding a bike. And yeah, is that something he could potentially do? Yeah, but inside of 2 months before Supercross starts is pretty crazy. So he's kind of putting something together last second. And I'm conflicted on how well I think he's going to do on essentially a privateer kind of setup versus a factory setup. Not saying that Club MX is by no means, privateerish, but him kind of being behind some other rig, it just breaks the question where there's going to be so many eyes on him, which is honestly genius, especially if he can come up with getting a good bike, which has got factory suspension on it again, and some factory parts. And if he can deal out a deal to get a factory bonus deal, then boom, he's golden, right? If he goes to Cowie's probably gonna maybe potentially throw the finger at him with, like they did Jason Anderson with, we don't want you to race World Supercross because we've invested a lot of money into the United States Supercross, and we can't have you go race somewhere else and potentially not make us money. We want you to sell bikes here rather than overseas. Like, there's going to be a weird transition that is going to happen, but it is definitely coming. It is definitely coming because there's way more eyeballs out there than what Supercross is actually getting. Like, I've seen the numbers of what Supercross pulls in. So, and I was not pleasantly surprised. I will say that. And which is just, again, proves that this is no football that we're dealing with. We need the other series in order to make it work. So you guys have got my opinion that I think he's going to continue on that damn Yamaha. I don't think he's going to break anything with the Red Bull to Monster, and he's not going to sign a factory contract because he wants to make $1.5 million to $2 million in Supercross, World Supercross after the fact. I don't think he really cares about the Super Motocross. I doubt this if we see. I'm going to just say prediction right now. Kenny's going to just kind of go Supercross only. He's going to do Supercross here in America, and then he's going to wait for World Supercross to start up and race that. He's not going to participate in Super Motocross for the outdoors in those final couple rounds. You know, he might participate in the final couple Super Motocross rounds because to qualify, you just have to win a race. So all he has to do is win a race in Supercross to be eligible for those final couple deals. He doesn't even have to race Supercross. He just has to win a race, right? At least that's how the rules. I'll have to talk with MX Sports and stuff, and we'll see what more information I can kind of get on that. But Kenny is the new Jason Lawrence. Yeah, he's not that bad of a dude, though. You know, not saying that Jason Lawrence was a bad dude, but he just kind of had the punk vibe going, which was cool. And Kenny is way more clean cut. Kenny is, in my opinion, closer to like a Dungey than. And so you guys are thinking Kenny's going to Factory Cowie. If the money is right, yes. Yes. If the money is right, boom. Hopper to Butler Brothers MX in 2023. Let's do it. I'll ride a KTM. Dun, dun, dun. But no, guys, that's really all I have for the show this week because there's not a whole lot going on, but I said I was going to continue up with the show. I've got some more interviews planned with some privateers, talking with them tomorrow. I'll have those videos posted sometime next week, and I'm planning on talking to a few more privateers because I just want to see where they're coming from, and I think all their stories are unique, yet very similar at the same time, and it's just something that nobody's doing. So whatever we can do to get some more exposure for them to help. This month, I haven't decided what the giveaway is going to be with the channel subscribers and the Patreons. You know, I want to wait for like the full graphics kit for maybe like A1, right? Because there's not a whole lot going on here. So we might do another goggles, might do some sprockets. I don't know, maybe do a chain. You guys will have to let me know what you think the giveaway should be this month. And I'll always do the last Thursday of the month. We'll do the giveaway. I'll do it live. We'll pick them. You know, those are always kind of fun. And you guys are saying Nico and K-Rock to Factory Beta. Dude, some of these are pretty funny. Blake Baggett. Dude, I don't know if Blake Baggett wants to race anymore. I think he allegedly got screwed over and signed an NDA, so he can't talk about it. I do think he got paid finally, but if he releases any information, he's probably got to give the money back. So he's not going to do that. And again, Jared says Jeff Walker, is he doing Supercross? I don't think Walker's going to do Supercross. If he was going to do Supercross, he would probably already announce that he's trying to do that. I think his wheelhouse has been motocross, so I think he's setting up for more of that. But it would be cool to see him do Supercross. But dude, 31 races just is crazy. Absolutely. I don't know how these guys can even function that way. Again, that's where we bring back to this whole idea of the insanity of overtraining. You got to rest, got to have good nutrition, all the above. Go check that out. Coach has got some good stuff planned on here. Garmin is awesome, and you know, you could just even use it as a tutorial to try to help with some more stuff. But okay, let's read some more comments here, and I hope you guys are having a good Thursday, right? How was everyone's effing Halloween? I had a blast. Halloween was great. It was over the pandemic, so people were actually like touching each other, and it didn't seem as scary. Like, loved it. Halloween was the bomb. Yeah, so you guys are saying Baggett is done. Yeah, unfortunately, I think Baggett is done, which is a bummer because he spent a lot of money on his training facility. He needs to try to sell it to another team or something, kind of like what Ricky Carmichael did with leasing the goat farm. I mean, yeah. Dun, dun, dun. And Baggett, dude, was just one of those outliers that was so fast. The Cooper Coptra, I can't even say it right, on the 250. He just was coming. And then on the 450, I really think that he needed to gain a little bit more weight to really be competitive, more consistent the entire length of his 450 career, truthfully. Dun, dun, dun. All right, what are you guys saying? Snow, you guys had snow for Halloween. That's a bummer. When it's snowing, all the kids, like, they can't show off their kick-ass costumes. But all right, guys, we've been here for 25 minutes. You know, in the chat, let me know. Just chat it, Cowie, or you think Yamaha. I'm going to get it started. I'm going to say Yamaha is what Kenny is going to. And, okay, you guys are saying, what do I think about Cooper Webb? I think he's, here, me being a pessimist, if he doesn't perform really well this year, we're going to see him think about retirement, is what I'm going to say. He's got some burnout issues. He's back with Alden. He's going to give it one more year to really, really try, because the risk versus reward, he can make some good money still. He's at the top of his game. If it doesn't happen, I don't think Cooper's going to want to stick around to be a fifth place guy. So it's kind of shit or get off the pot in Cooper's mind, I believe, because he's probably ready to move on with stuff. But the interesting thing is when riders say that they're ready to move on, once they leave this life of fame inside this small circle of motorcycle racing, is a lot of them have a hard time coming to terms with not being the man anymore. You know, sitting on your couch all day is not very adrenaline fulfilling as, you know, whipping in front of 30, 40,000 people in a supercross. So I believe that's the same reason why, you know, Dungey is wanting to come back, and it's just taken so long for him to come back. And if you can't stay busy, you know, with Carmichael doing the whole road to supercross stuff and announcing, and, you know, that's why you see these guys trying to do something, is you need to try to keep your mind busy. So that's my answer on there. And so you guys are saying Honda, Yamaha, two-stroke, dun, 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 125. KX needs a replacement for AC. AC, dude could win races. Absolutely. I think this year, Sexton, AC, and then obviously the favorites of Eli Tomac and Roczen. Roczen is a question mark here. I really don't know how well Roczen is going to perform right now. If he can get good equipment, I think he's going to be in a good place mentally, and he's got a plan set out to not really do motocross. In my opinion, I'll think he'll be a podium finishing guy. But if he doesn't get the bike, it's going to be a struggle for him. It's going to be a struggle for him. All right, guys. Let's brop it out here. I appreciate you. 100 people sitting here hanging out with me. You know, God bless y'all. Sincerely, appreciate everything that you guys do. We'll continue to do some of these live streams, and they'll be more fun. This one really is just unfiltered. Not much really to talk about in the form of racing, but man, you know, I just figured just keep it going. Keep bench racing. Keep doing what we're doing. So this is Johnny Effenhopper. Till next time. You guys got to shift up in the chat.